I feel like my entire life has been one long, slow con, and I was the only one who didn't know it. My name is Emily. I'm 28. My husband's name is Jay. He's 30. We met when I was 22, married by 25, and I thought I won the damn lottery. Turned out I just signed a contract in very fine print that basically said, you agreed to stop being a person and become a walking incubator. And no, that's not me being dramatic, because my husband literally sabotaged my birth control to lock me down and get me pregnant against my will. And the worst part, he did it with his family cheering him on. When I met Jake, he was that guy everyone warns you about after you've already fallen for him. Tall, charming, that stupid, easy smile. He looked you straight in the eyes when you talked. Remember little things about you. Saying, hey, did you eat? Text like some caring golden retriever boyfriend. I was a broke college senior, working nights at a coffee shop, living off instant ramen and anxiety. He came in with this group of guys from his office, and he was the only one who actually looked at me like I was a person, not just girl who makes my latte. He left a note on the receipt the third time he came in. If you ever want to drink coffee sitting down instead of making it, text me. Jake. And yeah, okay, I thought it was cute. So we started dating. Or at first, he was honestly great. He'd pick me up from campus, bring me snacks, listen to me rant about my insane professors. He showed up at my thesis presentation with flowers. When I cried because I thought I bombed it, he said, "You're literally the smartest person I know. Stop talking shit about my wife." Back then, that line made my heart flip. Now it just makes me want to vomit. The first red flag should have been his family. They were intense. First time I met them, his mom hugged me like we were long lost relatives and said, "Oh my God, you are beautiful. You're gonna give us gorgeous grandbabies. Not nice to meet you. Not tell me about yourself. Straight to grandbabies." I laughed it off. I was 23. Babies were theoretical, like retirement or owning a house. His dad shook my hand and said, "We've been praying he'd find a good girl, a wife, a mother. Just casual, no pressure, right?" The whole weekend, his mom would make little comments like, "Don't wait too long, sweetie. Your body doesn't like that. That mom, once he puts a baby in you, you'll calm down about career stuff. Being a mom is your real purpose. You'll see." I told Jake later, half joking, "Your mom is really obsessed with babies." He laughed and said, "She's just excited. She had me young. She doesn't get why people wait now. Ignore her. I don't expect you to pop out kids tomorrow." I believed him because why wouldn't I? Fast forward, I graduated, get a decent entry-level job, we move in together, and within a year, he proposes. It's all very Pinterest, fairy lights, candles, speech about building a life together. I said yes, of course I did. I loved him. I trusted him. Before the wedding, we had the conversation. I told him straight up throughout, I want kids someday, but not right now. At least 3 to 4 years. I want to get my career going, pay off some debt, maybe travel once without needing a stroller. He said, "Done, totally on the same page. We'll take our time." We even talked to my OBGYN together. I went back on the pill after we got married. She explained everything. We both sat there and nodding like two responsible adults. And for a while, things were good. We lived in a small apartment, worked, argued about cleaning, made up, did normal married people things. Every now and then, his mom would drop comments like, "I had Jake by your age. You're not getting younger, honey. I'm not going to be around forever. I'd like to meet my grandkids before I die." Jake would roll his eyes and tell her to chill in front of me. What I didn't know was what he was saying without me there. About a year and a half into our marriage, Jake started getting weird about sex. Not bad weird at first, just intense, obsessed with timing. He'd ask where I was in my cycle. He suddenly became very interested in my period app. Asked, "Do you have to be on the pill? It kills your libido, right? Don't you feel off? I read it's bad for you." At first, I thought it was sweet. Like, wow, my man cares about my hormones. I told him I like the control. I'm not ready for a baby yet. He'd say, yeah, I know. Just hate seeing you put chemicals in your body, babe. He kept bringing up natural methods, pull out, tracking ovulation, all that. I shut it down. I grew up with TikTok horror stories of pull out babies. No thanks. I'm not playing birth control roulette with my life. We'd laugh, move on, or so I thought. Then, every once in a while, he'd make these comments when we saw kids in the park or at the store. Can you imagine a little us? You'd be such a good mom. It's honestly a waste that you're in that office all day. If it happened by accident, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be thrilled, actually. I thought anything of a suit. I'd say, well, good thing accidents aren't happening. He'd smile, but there was something in his eyes I didn't like, playing a kind of the calculation. The first time something felt really off was when I opened our bathroom cabinet and saw my pill packs slightly out of place. I take them religiously, same time every night. I knew exactly how I left it. I found it tilted, moved. Some pills looked weird, like slightly chalky around the edges. I told myself I was being paranoid. I literally looked in the mirror and said out loud, "You're not crazy, you're just stressed." I started keeping my pills in my purse instead. Jake made a face when he saw that. "Why'd you move them?" "Just easier. I take them at night on the couch anyway." "You don't trust me around them or something?" Half joking, half not. That comment lodged itself in my brain. A few months later, I started feeling off. I was exhausted all the time. Food smelled weird. I was suddenly crying over dumb shit and like a Pinterest ad for a dog bed. I chalked it up to stress. Work had been intense. My boss was on my case, whatever. Then I missed my period. I was never 100% clockwork, but I was always close, a day or two max. This was a week. I told Jay, pace in the kitchen. "I'm late. I'm sure it's nothing, but still." He got this strange look on his face, half surprised, half excited, too excited. Well, maybe we should take a test," he said, like he was trying not to smile. I wanted to throw up, and not from morning sickness. I bought a test. Actually 3. I took one, set it on the bathroom counter, sat on the edge of the tub, and stared at the clock. You know that feeling where time stretches and shrinks at the same time? That was me in that bathroom. When the little lines showed up, I swear I heard something crack inside me. Positive. I walked out, test in hand, tears already spilling down my face. Jake, it's positive. He didn't look shocked, not even a little. He just walked over, picked me up, spun me around like some cheesy movie scene, and yelled, "I knew it! Oh my God, we're having a baby!" I was shaking. I said, "I'm not ready, Jake, I'm not ready. I told you." He interrupted, like, hey, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. We'll figure it out. This is a blessing. He kept saying stuff like, meant to be, God's timing, everything happens for a reason. And I kept thinking, I have been taking my pills every single day. I have been careful. How is this happening? The math did make sense. But I was in shock, and he was spinning this narrative so fast, I was just trying to stay upright. We told his parents a week later. His mom screamed on FaceTime. Actually screamed, "I knew it. I've been praying for this. My baby is having a baby." His dad smiled and said something about carrying on the family name. The whole call felt like a celebration I hadn't agreed to attend. After we hung up, I sat on the edge of the bed, hand on my stomach, and said, "I'm scared, Jake." He hugged me from behind and said, "I get it, but we'll be okay. You'll be a great mom." He sounded so sure, so calm. I wanted to borrow that calm. I tried. Pregnancy was hard on me. I was sick constantly, couldn't keep food down, couldn't sleep right. My back hurt. My brain was mush. Jake was half supportive, half weirdly possessive. He talked to my belly, kissed it, sent ultrasound pics to everyone, including people I'd literally never met. He also started saying things like, see, you were so scared, but look how good this is. You were trying to control everything. Sometimes you just gotta let life happen. I think deep down you wanted this too. You just didn't know it yet. I brushed it off as him trying to make me feel better, but it felt like he was rewriting history, like I never clearly said not yet. His mom came to stay with us toward the end of my pregnancy to help. She was all over me, rubbing my belly without asking, commenting on my weight, my swollen face. One night after I went to bed early, I woke up thirsty and went to the kitchen. I heard them talking quietly at the table, Jake and his mom. I was about to walk in and say hi when I heard my name. His mom said, "See, I told you, once you gave her a baby, she would settle down." Gave her a baby like he gifted me a purse. Jake chuckled low and said, "Yeah, you were right. She was way too focused on career crap. This will ground her." I froze. Then she said, "You did what you had to do. Sometimes men have to take the lead. She'll thank you later when she sees how happy she is." He answered, "I know. I just hated lying, but it was worth it." Every cell in my body went cold. I stepped back before they could see me, heart racing, brain spinning. Lying about what? My hands were shaking, but I forced myself to walk into the kitchen like I hadn't heard anything. They both snapped their heads toward me, fake smiles instantly in place. "Hey, honey, couldn't sleep?" Jake asked. "Just thirsty," I said, grabbing a glass of water, pretending not to notice the way his mom avoided eye contact. Well, everything in me was screaming. But I was 9 months pregnant. Where was I supposed to go? Our baby boy was born 2 weeks later. And yeah, I loved him. This tiny, squirmy, loud little human who came out of my body and turned my world inside out. But something else came out with him. This massive, ugly question mark I couldn't unsee. We were home from the hospital, baby finally asleep. I was sitting on the sofa in that weird postpartum haze, exhausted, hurting, leaking from everywhere. When Jake came over, kissed my forehead and said, "See, you did it. Aren't you glad it happened?" And I just snapped a little. Like, "Well, what did you mean when you said you hated lying?" He looked confused. "What?" "In the kitchen, before he was born, you and your mom, you said you hated lying, but it was worth it." For a split second, I saw panic in his eyes. Then it vanished. "Babe, I was talking about hiding the surprise crib she bought, remember? We pretended we didn't have it yet, so you'd be surprised." Lie. I knew it was a lie. My gut screamed it was a lie. But again, postpartum, exhausted, hormones everywhere. I let it go for the moment. Well, the truth finally came out when our son was around 3 months old. I'd started therapy because I felt like I was drowning between sleep deprivation, feeling like my body wasn't mine, and this constant nagging sense that something was wrong. I needed help. But my therapist gently kept circling back to the same thing. "You say you are really careful about not getting pregnant. You also say you don't understand how it happened. Do you fully trust that your birth control was never tampered with?" And every time I'd shrug it off because it sounded insane. Who does that? Who would do that to someone they supposedly love? One afternoon, Jake went to run errands and left his iPad on the couch. I never went through his stuff, never felt the need to, but something in my stomach twisted when I saw his email app ping. I wish I could say I had some noble reason. I didn't. I was just tired and suspicious and broken. I opened his email and I found everything. First was a thread between him and his mom starting over a year before I got pregnant. Her. She's going to wake up one day and decide she doesn't want kids at all. You'll see, career girls always do. Him. I don't want to pressure her. I'm trying to be patient. And a few weeks later, her. Be a man. If you leave it up to her, you'll be 40 with no family. Him. She's on the pill, Mom. What do you want me to do? Her reply, I swear to God, pills can go missing. Condoms can break. God helps those who help themselves. I felt like I was going to throw up right there on the couch. But then there was another email, this time between him and his friend, Jake. If I poke holes in the condoms and tell her it broke, that's fucked up, right? Friend. Yeah, dude, that's literally sexual assault. Jake, what if I just mess with her pills? She leaves them in the bathroom cabinet just once or twice. Let fate decide. Friend, bro, do not do that. That's insane. Either convince her or don't have a baby at all. This is psycho. No reply from Jake after that, but then I saw deleted emails in the trash folder. Not gone yet. One to his mom. I did what you said, started flushing some of her pills here and there. She thinks she's taking them, but sometimes she isn't. If it happens, it was meant to be, right? And his mom, you're doing the right thing. She'll never regret your child once she's holding it. I had to read it 3 times because my brain refused to process the words. He fucked with my birth control on purpose. My accidental blessing was not an accident. It was planned by my husband and his mother. I don't even remember when I started crying. I just remember suddenly not being able to see the screen. When Jake came home, I was still on the couch, our baby asleep in the bassinet next to me, the iPad in my lap, my face blotchy and swollen. He walked in, saw my expression, and I watched all the color drain from his face. Emily, what's wrong? I held up the iPad. I read your emails. Silence. He didn't even try to deny it. He just closed his eyes and sat down like his legs gave out. I can explain, he said quietly. I laughed. It sounded horrible. You can explain how you secretly sabotaged my birth control? How you decided for me when I was going to be pregnant? How you turned my body into a project with your mom? He put his head in his hands. I knew you'd see it like this. Like this. As if there was some other version of reality where this wasn't fucked up. I did it because I love you. He started because I knew you'd be an amazing mom. You were just scared, stuck in your head, thinking about money and careers. I didn't want you to wake up at 40 and regret not having kids. I knew once it happened, you'd see. I stared at him. You did it because you love me or because you love the idea of me with your baby, because they are not the same thing. He kept going. It's not like I raped you, Emily. We were having consensual sex. I didn't hurt you. I just nudged fate a little. And look, he gestured at our sleeping son. You love him, don't you? That broke something in me I didn't know could break, because yes, I love my son with every piece of me, but now my love for him is forever tied to this disgusting violation. You don't get to use my love for my child as a shield for what you did. I said, you stole my choice, you stole my timeline, you stole my ability to ever say this was truly what I wanted when I wanted it. He looked angry then and defensive. So what, you're going to leave? Be a single mom over some technical shit about pills? You really gonna blow up our family over that? Technical shit. I stood up, legs shaking. You blow up the family when you decided you had more right to my body than I did. You did that, not me. Our son stirred and started crying. I picked him up and Jake reached out on the instinct. I turned away. Don't touch me, I said. That was 6 months ago. I'm living with my sister now in her tiny guest room, my baby's crib wedged between the wall and the closet. I'm filing for divorce. We're talking to a lawyer about custody. Jake is still trying to spin this as some miscommunication or mistake. He told his family I'm trying to punish him for wanting a family. His mom had the nerve to call me and say, don't destroy your marriage over something you already can't change. You have a beautiful baby. Be grateful. Be grateful for being lied to, manipulated, violated. I'm in therapy twice a week trying to untangle the mess in my head that says, you love your child, so maybe it's not that bad. Though from the part that knows what he did is not love, it's control, it's abuse. So if you've listened this far, I genuinely want to know, what would you do in my place? If your husband admitted, or you found proof that he tampered with your birth control to get you pregnant before you were ready, with his mom cheering him on, would you stay and work on it because you love your kid anyway? Or would you do what I'm trying to do now? Walk away, rebuild from scratch, and accept that your child came from something deeply fucked up, but you're going to raise them in a house where nobody thinks they own your body except you. because right now I'm just a 28-year-old mom rocking my baby to sleep in my sister's spare room, trying to figure out how the hell to move forward when the father of my child turned out to be the one who never believed I deserved a choice in the first place. So yeah, if you've listened all the way to the end, thanks for sitting in this mess with me. Right now, I'm just trying to survive one day at a time and remember that my body and my life are finally mine again. That's all I've got for today. I'm out.